Hey there, Margot Freitag here. And one of the biggest questions that I get as a health coach is, how can I lose weight once and for all? And so I thought I'd put together a little video to share with you the 3 keys that I have found in my own life and in the lives of my clients that have been most helpful in helping with sustainable weight loss. I'm talking about weight loss that is forever, and without all of the agony and pain and suffering and struggling that goes along with typical diets and diet mentality. So let's jump right in. I want to share with you these 3 keys. We're going to be talking about first, these are the 3 keys, and then we're going to dive in a little deeper. First is key number 1, getting the food right. All right, you've been told everything and anything under the sun about what you should be eating and how you should be eating it. And we're going to get to the bottom of what the truth is, and I'll share with you the evidence behind it. Number 2, I'm going to talk about mindset. This is everything that's going on in your head, the negative beliefs and thoughts, the ideas you have about the way things should be going, and a lot more. We're going to dive into that. And then number 3, a workable plan that has been proven, and all of the things that go along with that. So let's dive in without further ado. Number 1 is the food. So a couple of things that I want to share. You have been told to go low carb, high protein forever and a day. I can still remember my very first weight loss clinic that I went to when I was in high school. Yes, I was just a kid when I started all of this. And they told me to go low carb. In fact, I remember they wouldn't let me eat carrots because there was too much sugar in carrots. I mean, let's be real. Low carb diets are not the answer. And this is the first problem. You've tried keto, you've tried South Beach, all of the diets that you've tried, and you feel like you have just tried everything, but you still have hope, and that's why you're here today. So let's just talk about the longest living and healthiest people on the earth who never struggle with their weight and live into their 100th year and beyond, able-bodied, clear and healthy mind, all of the details that go along with good health. So when you're talking about weight loss, I understand that you just desperately want to lose some weight, and you've been struggling with that. But the truth is that weight loss is all-encompassing. You want to just have a healthy weight so that you can have a healthy body and you can live a long and healthy and happy life, right? So it's not just about weight loss, although that's really what we're talking about here today. So let's just look at the longest living and healthiest people on the earth and what they eat. Well, these are the centenarians. These are the people who live into their 100th year and beyond, and they live in the blue zones. If you haven't heard of the blue zones, look up Dan Buettner and the National Geographic Society and the blue zones, and you will find that these pockets of people around the planet have certain things in common. These people that all live beyond 100 years in a healthy body. And what they eat is a plant-based diet. So they're eating 95% plants. And what they do is they're not necessarily vegan, although some of them are. They tend to eat small amounts of meat, little bits, 2 to 5 ounces, 2 to 5 times a month. So it seems to be more of a celebratory thing or a condiment. It's not like a big slab of meat on a plate. We just know this is not conducive to longevity, to eat large amounts of protein and no carbs. And this is partly why it's not sustainable. All right, so just a little bit more on the blue zones. The center of most blue zone diets is beans. They eat a lot of beans and legumes, fresh fruits and vegetables. They eat the things that are in season, and they tend to do a lot of gardening. So those are things to remember. Now, there are other factors about the blue zones that they all have in common, but this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the food and getting the food right. So plant-based eating is the way to go if you want to live in a healthy body and you want to live a long time. So I guess what I'd like to say about that is, when you think that you have tried everything and it hasn't worked, it could be that you've just been trying these low carb approaches. Now, we are actually obligate carbohydrate consumers. we have a lot of similarities with other herbivores on the planet. We have something in our saliva, which is a carbohydrate digesting enzyme called salivary amylase. And we start to break down carbohydrates as soon as we put them in our mouths. This is something that we share only with herbivores. Now, why do we have it? Because our bodies are intended to use carbohydrates as fuel as soon as we eat them. So that's why, athletes carb up before race day, for example. We are supposed to be eating plants and carbohydrates. When I say carbohydrates, I don't mean sugar and processed food and junk food. I don't mean French fries. I don't mean Twizzlers. I mean whole plant foods in their whole food form. I'm talking about starchy carbohydrates like potatoes and rice, and beans and legumes, simple carbohydrates like fruit, and some vegetables like carrots. So when you get carbohydrates in their whole food form, you're getting an abundance, an array of other nutrition as well. So you're getting fiber, which is super important for your health. You're getting an array of vitamins and minerals. You're getting phytonutrients and just an array of other nutrients that are going to be really good for you. So why is that important? Well, when we can max out our nutrient quota, then our body tends to send out that hunger signal less often because our nutrient quota is met. So when you eat nutrient deficient food, your body sends out a hunger signal soon after you eat it. And you can't figure out why you're already hungry again. But the reason is because you haven't met your nutrient quota. Your body needs nutrition. There's so much more to this, but I guess what I want to impart on you is that plants are really important, and carbohydrates in their whole food form are also important. So plant-based nutrition is really the way to go, and that doesn't mean necessarily being vegan, of course. It means mostly plants in their whole food form. All right, the next thing that you really need to be paying attention to if you are looking for a sustainable approach to weight loss is your mindset. And when I say your mindset, there are so many things about what we think and what we believe and the habits and behaviors that we sort of have taken on that are not serving us. So if you want to lose weight, if you want to get a handle on this, the first thing you're going to have to do is start talking to yourself in a nice way. The negative thoughts and beliefs, they don't help you. So that's the first thing. The next thing is a perfectionist attitude. Now, we have this idea, if we're dieting, that we have to be perfect. And if you can relate to this, let me know in the comments. I'd be really, I would be not surprised to know that this is something that affects you, because I know it affects a lot of people. This is something in the psychology textbooks that is called the what the hell effect. When people have a perfectionist attitude about dieting, they want to be perfect and stick to the plan all day long and every day until they reach their goal. And usually what happens if they reach their goal, once they reach their goal, they start to fall off the wagon because whatever they're doing isn't sustainable. It's not natural. It's not easy to stick to. And then the other part of that is even on a day-to-day basis, how many times have you followed the diet perfectly all day long and then you've come home at 4 o'clock, you're tired, you're hungry, you're craving something, and you tell yourself you're going to have just one cookie, just one, whatever the thing is. And before you know it, the whole thing is gone. You've eaten all of them, or you've eaten a lot of them, and of whatever that thing is. And then you feel guilty because you didn't get it right. You weren't perfect. And so what do? You throw in the towel. You say to yourself, what the hell? I'll start again tomorrow. So this is the what the hell effect. This is that attitude that you didn't get it perfect, and so then you're just going to start again tomorrow, and then you take the rest of the night off and you eat whatever you want. Well, this is completely self-sabotaging behavior. And what I'd like to encourage you to do is start to embrace imperfection. If you can just make good choices every day, you're going to get there. And if you can tell yourself when things, go wrong, or you have the thing that you shouldn't have had, or you eat the cake or whatever it is, you just tell yourself, okay, that's it, it's done. You wash your hands of it. You tell yourself that was just a piece of cake. It's not the end of the world. And you continue on your journey toward better health right at that moment. So this is just another piece of emotional mastery and mindset work that you're going to need to do. On that same note, I'd like to talk a little bit about embracing a growth mindset. So there's a growth mindset, and the opposite of a growth mindset is a fixed mindset. People who have a fixed mindset talk about things in a way that's sort of like very final, a victim mentality. They believe that there is no way out, that there are external factors contributing to the reasons they can't achieve something, and they've just basically decided they are at the mercy of whatever else is controlling the situation. A person with a growth mindset understands that failing is part of the process. You understand that tripping up along the way and making mistakes along the way are going to get you there as long as you persevere and you just keep working at it. So I encourage you to think about whether or not you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And I encourage you to start thinking about having and embracing a growth mindset when it comes to your health and taking charge of your health and your weight. So mistakes and struggles are part of the process, that you're going to fail forward. You're on a path to better health, or you're on your way to better health, and you understand that failing along the way is how you get there. You just keep going despite having, moments of imperfection and struggles as you're learning what works and what doesn't work, and what your body responds to and what it doesn't. And that's really why you're here. I would suggest that the fact that you are here and listening to this right now, it tells me that you have a growth mindset. I'm going to assume that you've been struggling with weight for some time and you haven't given up. So that's really good news. You've got a growth mindset. Keep on going.
Hey there, we'll get back to the video in just a moment. Really quickly, I hope you're enjoying the content that I'm sharing with you today. And if so, could you do me a favor? Could you please share it with somebody that you think would find it useful or helpful? That would mean so much to me. Also, I want to give you a gift for tuning in with me today. I want to give you my free 10 plant-based sauces, dips, and spreads ebook. These are curated recipes, easy enough for a child to make, kid approved, and guaranteed to get your child eating more plants. These are my kids' favorite dips, sauces, and spreads. In fact, they grew up on them. So if you're leaning into feeding your kids more plant-based foods or struggling with a picky eater, I've got you. This is going to help. It's absolutely free. Just go to www.plantpoweredpunks.com/10 sauces, dips, spreads, and we will email your copy right to your inbox. You'll also get access to a video series all about plant-powered parenting and developing a culture of healthy living in your family. Okay, back to the video. And on that note, it's really important to just listen for that fixed mindset voice. And that's that little voice in your head that says negative things, like the negative self-talk, the limiting beliefs, the criticism, the self-criticism, and the discouraging things, the things that make you feel like maybe you can't or maybe it will never work. So I would just encourage you to really focus in on when you hear those negative thoughts and that negative self-talk, to catch it and reframe it. So for example, if you hear yourself saying something like, I haven't figured it out, I just can't figure it out, I just can't get there, just add the word yet to the bottom of that, or to the end of that sentence. So, you've changed it. You've changed it from something really negative to something hopeful and growth oriented. You can now say to yourself, well, I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm getting there, or I'm going to get there. And just keep being positive, and it will make the biggest difference. All right, on that note, I want you to get a pen and paper, and I just want you to write this down. This will be helpful for you to just look back on, and you can modify it at any time, but I'm just going to encourage you to ask yourself the following 3 things. And when you're writing this down, I want you to understand that you have full control over the choices that you make to allow yourself to move forward toward your goals. All right, write this down. Number 1, what is it that you really want? I mean, is it weight loss? Yes. What specifically about that weight loss is it that you want? Number 2, why do you want it? How will your life be different if you achieve this goal? If you can put this struggle behind you and live in a body that is healthy and a body that you feel good being in, why do you want that? Write that thing down. And third, ask yourself if you're taking this on with a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. Now, a lot of times there's a dichotomy. A lot of times there's a little bit of both going on. But if you can bring attention toward the fixed mindset, then that's going to make all the difference. So ask yourself if that fixed mindset is seeping in anywhere, and bring attention to that thing. Just write a little bit about that. Now, there's one more thing I want you to consider, and you can write this down too. I want you to consider if you are taking this on for the long term. This is not a quick fix. It's a lifestyle change and behavioral change and habits, changing habits and changing the way you think about food and really being in this for the long term. And therefore, are you choosing intentional thoughts and reframing negative self-talk, self-limiting or defeating behaviors, and that fixed mindset so that you can be in this for lasting change? Okay, last but not least, we're going to talk about number 3, and that is structure, a plan that is proven, tools and strategies that work. And actually, this is the structure of what you're doing to make change in your life. So we know now what you need to be eating. Basically, of course, that's a whole different, that learning about plant-based nutrition is undertaking in itself, but now you know that this is the way to go. Number 2, you know that you need to deal with your mind and you have to master your mindset. So this is called emotional mastery or mindset mastery. And then number 3 now is the structure. You need a plan, a structured approach. You need tools and strategies that have been proven to work. So I'm just going to give you a couple of examples here, and then you can this will get the ball rolling for you. So for example, what is your bedtime routine like? Do you get hungry at night? Do you snack at night? What can you do to change the structure of your bedtime routine to set yourself up for success? You've got to get really good at knowing what happens before what happens. And that means you have to get good at knowing when things get difficult for you so that you can set up a plan, a structure for that part of the day or that situation where things typically go wrong. So my best example is a bedtime routine. A lot of people struggle with nighttime eating. And usually what's really going on here is your body is trying to tell you something, it needs something, and we misinterpret that need for food when really what we need is we probably need to go to bed. We need to sleep. So I encourage you to think of what else you can do instead. Set up a bedtime routine that starts earlier, turn your phone off earlier, maybe have a bath or maybe make a cup of herbal tea, and make a decision about not eating at night. And whatever it's going to take for you to do that, it's going to mean a pattern interrupt of some sort. It's going to mean making a plan to do something different for your evening to roll out differently so that you don't eat at night. All right, that's just one example, but I wanted to give you an example of a way to structure your day and structure your life so that you can get there faster. And so structure is part of it, but you also are going to need some other things. You're going to need a sense of community. You're going to need some support of some kind, and you're going to need ongoing education. You're also going to need a way to bring back fitness into your life and structure that part of your life so that you are, prioritizing your health in throughout the day, and just some other things like this. So I want you to make a list for yourself about ways that you think you could structure your life a little bit more differently and things that you already know you could change slightly so you can set up your day for success, master your relationship with food, get fitness and movement back into your life, find your happiness again and your most fulfilled self, maybe find your purpose and free up your time so that you're not focused in on your body and your weight and your health all the time. Wouldn't it be nice if this were just something that you did on a regular basis? It was just the way you lived so that you can just get on with your life. That's the goal. I'm here. If you need my help, feel free to reach out. I hope that helps you. And so those are the 3 keys. Remember, it's getting the food right. Don't listen to the noise out there about low carb. It's just not sustainable. Number 2, your mindset. You have to master your mind. Be kinder to yourself. Remember not to speak negatively to yourself. And, let's put perfectionism away. Perfectionism can now be a thing of the past. And last but not least, you need a strategic plan, a workable plan, and a proven formula that works. Tools, tips, strategies that work, and a community to help you get there. All right, I hope this helps you. If it did help you, please subscribe to my channel, give it a like, hit the bell icon to get notifications, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.